I'd like to introduce you now to Marieke Jansen, and Marieke is Executive Officer of the Northern Biosecurity Group and is also facilitating the MidWest demonstration site for the National Feral Pig Action Plan. So the title of Marieke's talk today is very similar to that of Scott's, but looking at the key learnings coming out of the work going on in WA in this area. So thank you, Marieke, and welcome.
Hi everyone. I'm just checking whether you can hear me okay, or I'll have to change to my phone. No, all right.
It's all good, thank you.
Thank you, Heather. Yeah, so I work for the Northern Biosecurity Group, which is a community group as part of one of the 14 recognised biosecurity groups in WA. If you go next slide, please, Narelle. They are recognised under the BAM Act and is a mechanism to ask for a declared pest rate that landholders will pay for the properties that they own. So we cover 3 shires, 844 properties, and we only rate people that have a property over 100 hectares. We work on wild dogs, feral pigs, rabbits, foxes, and cactus. So the main aim of why the group has been established is protecting agricultural assets, but hopefully we'll also hit some environmental protection goals there as well. And another point that I'd like to raise is that the BAM Act is currently under review here in WA. So if people got any comments, please go to the Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development website to see the changes that are needed as part of the regional biosecurity group model and other parts of the BAM Act. So next slide, please. These are the 14 regional biosecurity groups in WA. All the pastoral areas have been covered, I think, for close to 9 years now. The agricultural regions came in after then, and there's some smaller ones in the southwest. So we are just in that top left corner, and we are right along the state barrier fence. So our region exists for a third of pastoral areas, and then the majority really is mixed broadacre cropping. Next slide, please. As I mentioned, we've got a declared pest rate that funds the majority of our programs. Everyone over 100 hectare pays a minimum of 80 hectares, and that's tied up with the unimproved land value. So if you've got a bigger property that's has a higher value, you pay more. That money is matched dollar for dollar by the state government, and we've put all our priorities and budget in our operational plan that is published every year. So members and landholders can put input into that operational plan, where we might say, well, dogs, you know, it's currently our biggest program, but feral pigs might become a higher priority there. I work under a board. They're all community members, all volunteers, and I've got the farming group reps involved in my board, which is a big benefit for me, reaching our landholders and our members. Excuse me. Apart from the declared pest rate, we are also eligible to receive external funding, and currently we're in the last year of our state NRM program. We've got Wild Dog Action Plan money, small AWI project, and the Department of Primary Industries also funds something. Just what I wanted to touch base, because it's about community engagement. How do we get our landholders or members involved? There is 2 key dates in our year where we do get landholder consultation, or landholders calling or contacting the Northern Biosecurity Group. Is that when the the pest rates are published for consultation, which is normally around April, May, and in September, October, when all the landholders actually receive their declared pest notice. And in saying that, the landholders, I think we have a pay rate of about 95, 96% over the past 4 years, which is quite good. And yeah, it's, for me as an executive officer, it's like you work with the landholders you work with, you know them. It's the ones that you don't work with that you want their support as well. So those 2 days are key in delivering some achievements throughout our region. Next slide, please, Narelle. This is roughly budget items. So admin governance, it's just that's myself and a finance officer. We both work only part-time. Wild dogs, our biggest program, feral pigs, is increasing every year. And we've got small other projects and some community engagement money or budgets that seems low, but a lot of those activities are paid out of on-ground costs out of our wild dogs and feral pigs programs. Main expenses in our program are our licensed pest management technicians. We've got them separated in dogs, pigs, and some casual days for others, and they're listed down the bottom. So we've got 2 full-time licensed pesties contracted and 2 part-time ones and they're contracted for an amount of days per year. Next one. I've already touched on this. It's a 180-day contract for the licensed pestie, and he'll come into camera in a minute when Cliff will be talking as well. We've got Wayne. He's mainly focusing on our feral pig programs and does a lot of the trapping. We do our community baiting days in February, April. We've got quite a few landholders involved in that. Then other activities is just ad hoc baiting that farmers want to do as part of their ongoing control on their own properties. We try different techniques. We've got hog on. We purchased some traps, and then a large part of the activities that we're doing is together with the Department of Primary Industries and Regional Development is a camera network that gets serviced every 6 weeks. We've got a real-time camera network as well. The GPS collaring of pigs in our region plus, and it's when I also met Brendan from the Whitsundays. We did a thermal imaging survey and some thermally assisted shooting training course with some shooters from all over Australia. So I'm involved in that as well. And then part of my job is to increase the awareness through, in our community through all the networks. Next slide. So that's just a few of the things that we're doing, our trapping, baiting, community programs. We've got some remote matlock trapping that landholders can do themselves, or the local pestie manages that program, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. Next slide. A big part of our budget really for our feral pig management program is aerial culling. We only started in that with that in 2018. We included 7 properties, but a few of those properties were quite big. Very first time that we tried it, it was a little bit of a community engagement exercise to see how we would go, because people in our region were thinking that that would be a good exercise, and a lot of pigs would be culled. I talked to a few people in WA and Australia-wide about it as well, and we were a bit like, oh, how's this going to go? We're going to fly early in the morning, late at night, or late in the afternoon. We were you know, we gave it one go in the first day. We were quite successful in doing that. So we had 11 hours of flying, and we culled 512 pigs within those 2 days. So that was quite successful. That continued over the next 4 years, and we increased the area that we were shooting. 2020, we had the largest area that we shot, which is not on the picture that's displayed there. That was the 2021 flight paths. What we found was that you get good results, but you have to know where your pigs are to get a good bang for your buck. So 2022, the 5th year we've done our aerial shooting, and we also do not, we've got the data, but we go per pigs per hour that we cull. So we did a 5-day shoot in March this year, and we did another 3-day shoot in July this year. I haven't got the results on here yet, but we now know very much our hotspots. And I think we got in one flight we had 1.02 pigs per minute that our aerial team was shooting. So that's quite a good result. And the preliminary data of that is that it cost us $18 per pig, while in 2018, when we just started, it was $26 a pig. In 2020, I think on average we had to pay $32 a pig, $32 or $36 per pig out of the top of my head, which wasn't as efficient, but we also did a little bit of the monitoring and included some other landholders that have feral pig issues. But after 2020, we decided as a group that it's more effective to do some trapping and baiting in those areas. Next slide. So this is another project that we're doing to understand a little bit more about feral pig behaviour, and that data will we communicate that with landholders. It's very much for us to understand where do we trap, bait, but landholders as well, that these pigs do not move very far from where we collar them actually. This project will end in December this year, so hopefully the results of that will be written up by the research officers of DPIRD. So thank you so much for them providing the time to assist us in this project. Next slide. We've just this year started on this Afforda camera network to do some counting and monitoring of the work that we're doing is effective. That's still very much work in progress, and we need to find the spots where we do have mobile reception. That's the main setback of this project, but I think the results of that, when we've got it all going, would provide some great information if the work, what we're doing, is helping managing. Don't think we'll eradicate pigs, but we'll manage them in our region. Next one, please. So we've got some static cameras as well since early 2018, and that data monitoring is ongoing, but the first 2 years or 3 years of that program has shown a decrease in feral pig activity in front of those cameras. Given the number of pigs that we've taken out of our region through baiting, trapping and aerial culling, I would hope to believe that it's that the work we're doing is having a positive impact on the populations. But anecdotal data from landholders say they have pig numbers increasing, even straight in aerial culling areas. 6 weeks after we culled, they said, oh, I've never seen that many pigs in my canola as this year. And it's all anecdotal, and hopefully the monitoring work that we're doing would provide some understanding in that. I think part of it is we've had some really good bumper years in our region. The other fact might be that we are raising awareness in our region on feral pigs, and more farmers are becoming involved and are looking out for feral pigs and the damage that they're doing. Next one, please, Narelle. So this is just some results of the work over the past 5 years. There's some results of the aerial culling again, the number of landholders and community baiting days. They are fairly steady. I'd like to increase the participation in that a little bit more about community baiting for people. I think we organise our community baiting days over summer. A lot of landholders are taking that time off. Broadacre croppers especially, they're away. It's not on their radar, but I'll touch base on that later. And we do trapping, but to keep records on that, that is very, I hope you can still hear me. I've got a warning. Community is still unsure. We do not have a good grip of what people trap themselves. Feral scan, we promote that. It's very hard for people to put that online, I would say. Next slide, please. So for all our activities, how can we improve our community engagement? We have our normal AGMs, we've got memberships, the rates and submissions notices are those moments and times where all ratepayers, so most of the landholders in our region, will get contacted, and is a way to provide feedback to our activities. And I'm hoping that would engage those landholders that we do not work with already. Other networks, the farming groups, have quite a big membership base for most parts of our region in the broadacre cropping areas. There used to be a bit of a gap in farmer, how do you say it, in group of farmers in the Greenough area, and Cliff as a landholder will maybe touch on base on that. They weren't covered by a farming group. So with the Northern Biosecurity Board taking in that area as well, I think we've provided some assistance for farmers and some guidance for farmers there as well to manage feral pigs. I think the big problem with us is that farmers are time poor. So they all know feral pigs are an issue. They all know the damage they do. It's just for them getting the time to proper pre-feed, to check traps, to put feed up, etc., etc. It's just another hard task for farmers to do while they are already busy. And as you know, as a farmer, it might rain and everybody has to start spraying again. It's just hard to get that consistency, and I think that's why the contract of the licensed pestie is working for us. The other thing I would say about that, feral pigs are often an issue just after seeding for farmers or during harvest, and I think that's because they see them because they are driving around their properties. other thing how I think we could improve our community engagement. We're a community group with limited funds for governance and admin, and I work part-time, but if we would get some communications assistants or an officer that would, you know, write those newsletters, talk to people, provide articles for different networks, I think hopefully that gets picked up by all landholders in our regions as well and beyond. It's just when you're doing your on-ground work, those sorts of things just gets dropped down the bottom of our of priorities. And I think another way of engaging farmers or get them to do the control measures is if we have a very good understanding of the cost of feral pigs to broadacre farming. In Scott's presentation there, he's got a way better understanding about that than us. I'm hoping we would get to that level as well in the future, and I think that would be a very good tool for people to invest or contribute to feral pig management, either through the pest raid or with their own funding. So I think we've been doing a great job in getting farmers understanding feral pig issues. There's a risk to all this. I think since the Northern Biosecurity Group has become more active, I think, well, I've seen some landholders get too reliant on the work that we're doing, especially in our aerial culling programs. They just think, oh, well, I'll wait till the helicopter comes over and shoots our pigs again, because you get an instant result. You can count your bodies. They know exactly what's been happening. The other risk is about how much do we put out in the media and social media, especially. I think it's a risk in, well, could be in the whole of Australia, but in WA, if we would put too much information of where, when, and how many pigs we are seeing or shooting in certain areas. I think feral pig hunters could become, well, we have seen that they come to our region and interfere with our own trapping and baiting programs that we put a lot of effort and time into to get those pigs on pre-feed, etc.
Yep.
Next slide.
Marieke, can we wrap up, please? I'm just mindful of time and
yes, sorry. That's only what. That's it, really. So this is just a small. This is all the information that we sort of have for damage to broadacre cropping. But I will talk to the Scott Hardys and other people, hopefully in in Australia, that could provide some input of models that we could use for our broadacre cropping. And I think that was my last slide. Heather.
Thank you very much, Marieke.